Okay, so today we are going to talk about obtaining finances for your business. When you're writing your business plan, you want to make sure that you are addressing how you will be obtaining finances, and so you'll describe your plan. You also kind of want to write your business plan towards whatever financing options you're considering. Now, there are thousands upon thousands of ways to come up with money for your business. There's a lot of really creative ideas out there. I'm going to cover the most common ways that people obtain money from or for their companies. So we've got owner investment and bootstrapping. So that's where you bring in your own money or you figure out ways to cut down your expenses in order to collect more money for your business. You can reach out to friends and family, trade equity or services. There are programs that are called business incubators and accelerators. You've got things like crowdfunding, which you're probably familiar with as far as like Kickstarter and Indiegogo. You can reach out to investors. We're going to talk about the different types of investors. There's small business loans as well as business grants. So, what I want you to take from this particular topic is I just want you to start thinking about a plan of action of where you're going to generate your funds. So, here are some ideas to generate your own funds. Obviously, you can use a savings if you have one. One of the most common ways is to continue working and starting your business as a side gig. So that way you still have money coming in and then you've got your side hustle or starting really small with your business and then wait until it grows really big before leaving your previous job. So, ways that you can start a side gig, like I said, are to start small. You can put up Facebook ads. You can freelance on different websites like Upwork, TopTal, Freelancer, Guru.com, Fiverr, and Thumbtack. You can also put your business out there on Craigslist, or if you're creating something and selling it, you can sell it on things like Etsy. And so these are ways that you can start small. Those are platforms. Some of those platforms are entirely free to use. Some of them require that you pay for a membership fee, or the platform itself may request that you pay a percentage of every client or job that you do. So, for example, Upwork is one of those that will take a percentage of your sales. But these are all ways that you can kind of start slow and small. The other thing that you can do is kind of look around your house and see if you have items that you could sell or things that you could, rent out or utilize. So, for example, if you have a car, you could always drive with Uber part-time and pick up some extra hours and some extra cash. If you have old stuff laying around the house, you can always sell that to try and generate some funds for your business. There's been some really cool ways that people have come up with money for their business ideas. So, for example, Steve Jobs, in order to start Apple, what he did was he sold his VW, and his partner Wozniak sold his scientific calculator. So they looked around and they found something that they felt was worth money. They sold it, and that's how they got the funds to start that in Steve Jobs' parents' garage. So, some interesting ways of coming up with stuff. Everyone always tells you to start with friends and family. My advice is to obviously do this, but you still want to treat this as though it is a business transaction. I know that they're your friends, I know that they're your family, but you want to make sure that you are creating a contract and that you are establishing everyone's responsibilities and what the expectations are. Because sometimes, if you've just had a verbal agreement, in each of your heads, you're thinking that it means something else. This is why it's so important to put it in writing, okay? So whatever you decide, put it in writing. So you want to treat the situation just like you're pitching to a bank. So you want to come up with a strategy. And what I mean by that is, do you want to ask every single one of your family members for $25? Or do you want to ask a handful of your more financially sound family members for $1,000 or $10,000 in investment? So do you want a whole bunch of small amounts of money or a couple people giving you large amounts of money? You want to make sure that you know what you are planning on giving them in return. So are you planning on giving them part ownership of your business? Are you planning on paying them back with interest? When are you paying them back? Are you giving them access to products or services? And so you want to make sure that, again, everybody's on the same page and you want to put it in writing. The reason why is because when you're having these moments and everything is good, everybody is on the same page. If there's some kind of hiccup, and somebody gets upset or there's a misunderstanding, you want to be able to go back to that writing and be able to show, no, this is what we agreed upon. So this is a way of covering your own butt, okay? Write out some sort of sales pitch or presentation. So generally, unless your family members are professional investors, they probably won't want to read through your 15-page business plan. They may not need to have a crazy presentation, but they will want to know that you know what you're talking about. And so come up with some kind of sales pitch or presentation. This is also a really good way to test your sales pitch before you pitch it to something like a bank or an investor. Now, here's the deal. Once your friends and family have actually invested in your company, you want to make sure to communicate often. So one of the benefits about getting funds from friends and family is if things fall behind, they tend to be a lot more lenient and a lot more understanding than an investor or a bank. And so you want to communicate to them, this is what's going on. This is what step we're at. This is the reason we're delayed. And so they're going to be a lot more flexible than anyone else. And so you want to make sure that you're keeping that communication open, and this is going to keep those relationships strong and keep, again, everyone on the same page. Next, there's the option of trading services. So when I'm talking about trading services, you may be opening something like a snowboarding company. You're great at creating graphics, you're great at shaping boards, and putting all of that together. Maybe what you're not so great at is marketing, but you know that your brother-in-law is a killer marketing person. And so you can reach out to him and say, hey, can I help design graphics for you for your marketing company? Or, hey, can I trade you some snowboards for some marketing services? And so you can trade those different services or talents that you have in order to save money. You can also reach out to other small business owners. Same idea here. Hey, I'm really great at this. I see that you're really great at that. Would you want to trade? And that way you can both benefit off one another. And this is one way to create really strong relationships in your area or around your location with other small business owners. It's great to have a network when you're first starting out a business. Again, put it in writing. The key here is, again, that everyone has the same expectations. So I said I was going to give you 5 boards. You said that you were going to, help me with my social media marketing. And so that involves helping me with Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. And so it's laid out that everybody knows what they're responsible for and when those are supposed to be completed. Continue to follow up. Again, communication is key here. Making sure that you're having open communication of, hey, I'm working on it, or hey, we fell behind, I'll get it done by this date. And so making sure that you're allowing for that open communication back and forth and letting each other know what that schedule looks like for when these services will be traded or finished. Some really cool programs out there are called incubators and accelerators. So incubators are services that help business startups. So usually an incubator is something that will have mentorship, guidance. A lot of times they'll have communal workspaces where you can go and use their computers or office supplies or kind of work on ideas with other people that are like-minded or even on your own. There's also generally a lot of networking or networking events. So again, that's where you can start calling in those favors, getting word out, putting out a helping hand. You never know when that's going to help you in the future. So networking is a huge part of the success of a business. I put this link here. Please check it out. There's a lot of really cool incubators on here that can help your business get to the next level. So they'll help you with things like marketing. They'll help you with things like filing your business paperwork. They'll help you with figuring out your financial plan. So I highly recommend incubators. There are also what are called accelerator programs. So, accelerator programs are generally small courses where you take their courses to prepare you to pitch your idea to an investor. Usually, at the end of their course, they actually connect you with angel investors. Most of the time, accelerator programs are not free. You usually have to pay in advance. But as I mentioned, it could lead to some really big money. So I definitely suggest getting involved with incubators and accelerators. We're actually working with an accelerator program right now, which is the SBDC, and you're receiving some of these courses and tools for free, like the Live Plan online business plan development that we've been working on. Next is crowdfunding. You're probably pretty familiar with this, but if you're not, crowdfunding is a means of collecting small amounts of money from a large number of people, and this is online. So if you decide to use something like Kickstarter or iFundWomen or CircleUp, any of the ones that are listed here, Indiegogo, you'll want to come up with some kind of a pitch. Most of the successful crowdfunding projects have some kind of video, or they'll have multiple videos that are walking people through the steps. Again, you want to communicate often with the people who have funded your idea or put their money towards your business idea. Keep them involved. Make them feel like they're actually part of the project. And so this is what step we're on. This is what milestones we've reached. These are some of our setbacks. These are some of our successes, and keeping them part of that process. A lot of times too, with crowdfunding, people will come up with some really cool presents. So it'll be, donate $5 and you get a sticker. Donate $20 and you get a t-shirt. If you donate over $1,000, we're opening an art gallery and we're going to do an event for you and 25 of your closest friends. And so they'll have these really cool presents or gifts to show how thankful they are for these people believing in them and investing in their company. With crowdfunding, you do not have to pay this money back. So that's something that's really cool about it. So there are several different types of investors. So you have your angel investors. These are wealthy individuals. Usually they've already been entrepreneurs, and so now that they've gained their wealth, they're investing in other companies. Many times, not only are they investing their money, but they're investing their time and their advice. So they act as a mentor for your company. There is also peer-to-peer lending. So these are unsecured loans. So it's still a loan, but these are your online like lending tree type situations. So what happens is somebody who has some money wants to invest it, and so they'll go to LendingTree and they'll sign up as somebody who wants to be a lender, and they put in certain parameters. So I'm looking to lend $10,000, but the person needs to have a credit score of over 650, and they need to make $50,000 a year. And so they'll put in different parameters for that, for who they're looking for and who they're willing to lend to. Then you have venture capitalists. These are also called VCs, if you've ever heard that term before. So venture capitalist firms are companies that represent wealthy investors. So wealthy investors go to these venture capitalists, and similar to the peer-to-peer online lending, they tell the venture capitalists, this is what kind of businesses I'm interested in investing in. These are the type of owners I'm interested in investing in, and how much I'm willing to invest. And so the venture capitalist firm or group will vet all of the different businesses, and then they'll only present the ones to their clients that they think their clients might be interested in. Generally, when you're working with venture capitalists, you're giving up a percentage of your ownership, and you're having to sign a partnership agreement in most situations. When you are writing, so since we're talking about your business plan and what you're writing, when you're writing your business plan, the two most common things that are looked at first are going to be your executive summary, which we'll be working on this next week, and your financials, which we're working on this week. So the reason why is particularly when you're talking about VCs, some of those people get hundreds of business plans and business ideas on their desk at a time. So what they're doing is they're just scrolling through them really quickly or flipping through really quickly. And so they're going to look at the executive summary and see, are we even interested? If there is some interest in your type of business, they're going to flip to see your financials and see, is this worth our investment? Are we going to get our money back? Does this seem like a pretty solid idea? And so this is why those two sections of your business plan need to be the strongest and the most clear, because this is what's going to capture the attention of investors and venture capitalists, and even when you are taking them into banks in order to get loans. The other way that you can get investors is to sell off stock. So what you would do is you would incorporate your business, and it would be a C Corp or an S Corp, and selling that stock allows for people to own small percentages of your company. And so this is a way for you to raise capital. Usually when you start selling stock, it's already for an established company. And the reason why is because when you start openly trading stock in the stocks, it requires a lot of time and a lot of money to set up. You have to go through a middleman, like an investment bank like JP Morgan, and they're the ones who actually look at your business and see if it's worth putting out there and selling stock to their clients to pick up or to making it public. And so this is an option for you to be able to raise capital in the future. Okay. Another option is small business loans. You can do these through different banks. There's also, SBA loans through the Small Business Association, which is backed by the government. You want to make sure that your business plan has a specific reason for the money. So what do you need the money for? What are you going to use it for? How much do you need? And so you want to make sure that that's very clear in your business plan. And I highly recommend to visit some of those, incubator type businesses or programs like SCORE, which is free, and also the SBDC, which can give you some free advice. You have access to it right now. Please utilize it. They'll review your business plan and help you to obtain small business loans or investors. You want to make sure if you're considering getting a business loan that you go through and review your credit history and your credit score. And the reason why is because you want to make sure that everything on your credit is up to date and that there isn't any discrepancies. So if there's any old information on there, you want to make sure that you get that all cleaned up before you head to get your small business loan and they start running your credit. Many, many times when you're looking at pulling out startup funding for your business, they're going to ask for you to do what's called a personal guarantee, meaning that all of this credit, all of these loans go on your personal credit, not your business credit. Or sometimes it's both. And the reason why a lot of times they'll pull from your personal credit is because your business doesn't exist yet. It doesn't have a credit history. And so they're asking for you to personally guarantee it with your own personal credit history. You want to immediately do a lot of research and see what your borrowing options are, who you can go through. You want to start comparing and doing your research. Get your business plan nice and clear. Like I said, make sure that you've got the reason for the money and what you're going to use it for. Because you'll have to present that at the different banking agencies. And then you also want to plan a presentation and make an appointment in order to show your business plan and give your presentation. Last on our list is business grants. There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of grants out there. If you go to grants.gov, you may be able to find something that works for you. There are grants for all kinds of crazy stuff. Sometimes they don't apply to your business. Sometimes, you can make it work. There's grants out there for environmental reasons, and there'll be different grants for different locations. So they may just be looking for, in Vista, we're looking for environmental projects. Or in North County, San Diego, we're looking for women-owned business or minority business. And so there's all kinds of different business grants out there that may apply to what you're considering doing. The best thing about grants is you don't have to pay this money back. The downside of business grants is it involves a lot of time and a lot of paperwork. So you want to make sure to get all of your ducks in a row before applying to a business grant. Also, to go just back really quick to small business loans, they also take a lot of time and a lot of paperwork. So make sure that you are prepared for that. Okay, so from here, one of the things that you should really focus on is your networking and your elevator pitch, because you never know who you will run into that could be a potential partner, a potential investor, a potential customer, or a potential employee. And so you want to be prepared to tell somebody in 20 to 30 seconds, this is what my business is. So this is what we're doing. This is why it's, better than our competition. And this is why you should get involved. Okay. So it's a really quick, persuasive speech to create interest in a product idea, or business. As I mentioned, so this is a quick speech to bring on co-founders, potential customers, mentors, advisors. You could get other companies to partner with you on projects using a speech like this, and it also convinces employees to jump on board with you. So when you're starting to think about creating your elevator speech, you want to think about why you are doing this. What is it that caused you to want to start this business in the first place? And why is it important? What need is it filling? And so you want to keep the why the same for each and every person. And the reason why is because if you keep switching the why, it starts to sound fake, right? You also want to drop the frill. So for example, this revolutionary new product is going to change the industry forever. It sounds cheesy, it sounds sales pitchy. You want to focus on the facts. It also, using those frilly words and such, are going to take up some of the time that you have in that 20 to 30 seconds to capture somebody's attention. So stick to the facts. So far, we've changed the lives of 1,000 students with our product, right? So this is a fact. We've reached this milestone. We've already worked with 18 different colleges in the area. And so you're being very specific. So focus on your facts and what need you plan to fill in the future. Also remember that people are evaluating you just as much as they are evaluating your business idea. And so if you are going to a networking event, if you do know that you might run into a potential investor, make sure that you are carrying yourself with confidence, that you've cleaned yourself up a bit, that you kind of fit the bill of, somebody who's trying to start this professional business, because it only takes 7 seconds for someone to form a first impression of you. In that 7 seconds, you don't even have to say a word, and they're already forming an impression. Remember, you only get one first impression, so definitely think about that. So here's a quick example template, and you can go back and check this out, but this is just what I was saying earlier. You can, in all the red spaces, kind of fill in your own ideas here. You want to start with the pain point. So remember when we were talking about idea generation in the very beginning of this class, you want to talk about the pain point, how your product or business is going to fix that daily pain for somebody. Compare it to competitors and why you're better. And then talk about any milestones you've reached so far, where you plan to go, and then why they should get involved. And so that's going to be your basic template for creating your elevator pitch. Now, I've already said networking a couple of times. Networking, I cannot tell you how important this is. I can't emphasize it enough. As small business owners, we all rely on one another. Particularly here in Oceanside, it's a very tight-knit community. And so everybody's reaching out to help everybody. I highly recommend that you join professional associations, clubs or attend alumni events, go to conferences, go to business expos. Definitely get involved with local businesses and city events. So for example, you could become a member of the Chamber of Commerce or a member of Main Street Oceanside. These do require membership fees, but you literally will have your finger on the pulse of what is happening in the city. So there's all kinds of different events that go on that you can be a part of with your business. They help to promote your business and market your business for you. And so these are excellent ways for you to network and build your business. When you are networking, you want to make sure that you're actually showing a genuine interest in people. You want to make meaningful connections. So you want to ask questions. I mean, don't bombard somebody with questions of, just asking questions for the sake of asking questions, but you want to have a conversation. So you want to share stories or advice that you may have. Look for ways that you can help them. Even if it's as simple as you're chatting, they're like, man, I'm so hungry. Hey, I know there's this really cool bistro down the street. You should definitely check it out. Or I'm having a really difficult time getting my SEO on point and I'm kind of struggling with that. Hey, you know what? I know this guy who is an SEO guru. Let me give you his number. So look for ways that you can help them. This is how you're going to build stronger connections. Use your elevator pitch when asked what you do. Again, this is a way for you to get your business idea out there and potentially bring on more people who could either help you, mentor you, be part of it. Maybe they want to work with you, another business. Maybe they want to partner up. Get business cards made. One, this establishes you as a credible business almost immediately, and it's a way for people to contact you in the future. After that, make sure that you're staying in touch with people. So reach out every few months or so. Hey, how have you been? I'm attending this event or I'm gonna attend this event next week. I thought you might be interested since we were talking about A, B, and C. You might really get something out of it. Or, hey, I just read this really cool book. Thought you might like it. And so just keeping those people in mind and keeping those connections flowing is a way for, like I said, for you to continue to build your business and continue to build your reputation. One of the big things that I see students run into all the time is that some people are very, very shy. I want to help you with that a little bit because even if you're shy, like I said, networking is going to be something that is so powerful for your business. You can't run away from it. So you're going to need to network to make a successful business. So my advice, if you're planning on going to some kind of conference or some kind of networking event, plan ahead, okay? So come up with some icebreakers or recent stories to share and kind of think over them of like, okay, this will be my go-to thing. And when I talk about an icebreaker, it doesn't have to be anything intense. You might see somebody that seems pretty comfortable in what they're doing and simply saying, wow, it really looks like you know what you're doing here. Any advice for a first timer? This opens the door for them to start chatting with you, giving you some advice on how to handle it. Now you've established a connection and they may introduce you to other people, which is going to make networking a lot easier when you already have somebody on your side. Another piece of advice is to go early. Generally, people don't start showing up until an hour or two after an event starts. So if you go early, there's a smaller handful of people, which makes it less intimidating. And again, creating those early connections, now it's easier to talk to one or two people than trying to pick out one or two people out of a room full of 100. Establish those relationships early, and then again, they will introduce you or could introduce you to others. Also, volunteer at events. Now, I know that this sounds counterproductive for those who are shy, but let me explain how this works. If you volunteer at events, let's say that you're checking people in, now they've already seen your face, and later on as the event is going, people will recognize you and, oh, hey, I saw you at the door. Hi, my name is Ashley. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for helping out with this event. Or, oh, you're Mark. I saw that email from you. I've been meaning to try. People will seek you out. I've been meaning to find you. Thank you so much for helping me out, And so It's one of the ways to get your name out there and get recognized where people seek you out rather than you having to go seek others out if you're shy. Again, make sure to stay in touch and check in every few months. Now, I know a lot of students are interested in mentors. Like I said, if you're able to capture someone who is an angel investor, a lot of times they'll act as a mentor. But if you're just looking for someone to give you advice, there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? And there's rarely free advice. People are very, very busy, particularly business owners, and so you'll need to capture their attention right away. So one of the things that you could do is try doing something nice to grab their attention. So maybe invite them to lunch. Say, you know what, I have all these questions about starting this business, and I know that you're successful in this industry. I would love to pick your brain, and I would love to take you out to lunch. Would you have time for that? And try and set up some kind of meeting with them. When I was running my business, I had someone offer to run my Pinterest account for me and set it up so she could get experience in setting up Pinterest accounts for businesses. And also I could give her some business advice. And so this was a way that we kind of worked together and we were trading services, right? Make sure that when you do meet up with somebody who's a potential mentor, that you are prepared with questions. Don't just show up and say, I have no idea what I'm doing. What should I do? You want to have specific questions. They want to see that you've done your research because they don't know what you don't know. So you need to ask them the things that you can think of. One of the things that I'll suggest that you ask is, if you could do it over again, what would you change? We can learn so much from other people's experience and especially from other people's failures. And so this is a question that I definitely recommend asking to any successful business person so that you don't fall into that same trap. Okay, so overall here, the key messages are make a plan. And when I say make a plan, I mean you want to make a plan of where's the money coming from. Are you investing $5,000 of your own money, investing $10,000 from your friends or family, and then planning on taking out a business loan for $30,000? Are you planning on doing small amounts of money from 1,000 people or large amounts of money from 5 people? And so come up with a plan and put that in your business plan. This is how we plan to fund it. This is where the money is going to come from. Make a presentation, whatever that presentation looks like for you, whether that's just you speaking, your elevator pitch, whatever the case may be, or if you're making a video or a PowerPoint presentation, come up with some sort of presentation. From here, you need to sell yourself and your plan, okay? So you're going to have to continuously put yourself out there. So you're gonna need to network. You're gonna need to get that elevator pitch out. You're going to need to show up at different banks, show up to different VCs, show up to different investors. So you're really going to have to work to sell yourself and sell this business idea. So make sure that you're really pushing that. If you're doing something like a Kickstarter, you've got to show different content on social media platforms every single day. You've got to encourage your friends and family to share it every single day. And so make sure that you're really pushing and selling it. And then lastly, of course, communicate. So you may have noticed in every single slide I talked about communication, particularly if people have already invested in your business. You want to make sure to continuously communicate with them, let them know what's going on. It makes them feel a lot more comfortable. It makes them feel involved. It makes you seem more trustworthy, more credible, like you're not trying to hide anything and that you're being fully transparent. So these are my suggestions for you as far as most common ways to obtain financing and how to kind of go about doing that. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, reach out to me.